Well, the 11th COVID-19 patient in Meghalaya has tested negative during retests. Earlier, the patient had tested positive in the last 4 tests that were conducted before testing negative in the 5th test. However, a final test will be conducted after 24 hours for the final outcome. It may be mentioned that Meghalaya's 11th COVID patient is a primary contact of the first COVID patient from the state. Earlier, an individual who was a worker at the residence of Meghalaya's first COVID patient had tested positive during precautionary tests. Subsequent to this, 181 high-risk contacts of the first COVID patient were retested, out of which 180 individuals had tested negative. Meanwhile, the total number of active cases in the state rose to 2 after the worker of the first patient tested positive. That's right, viewers, a big development that we're tracking at this point in time. The 11th COVID-19 patient in Meghalaya has tested negative during the fresh round of tests. Earlier, the patient had tested positive in the last 4 tests before he tested negative in the 5th test. However, a final test will be conducted after 24 hours for the final outcome. Let me tell our viewers at this point that Meghalaya's 11th COVID patient is a primary contact of the first COVID patient from the state. Right, and to give us more details regarding this big development, I am being joined now live from Shillong by my colleague Roshan Rai. Yes, well, Roshan, big development coming in from your state. The 11th COVID-19 patient from Meghalaya has officially tested negative in the 5th round of tests that has been conducted, and yet another test will be conducted after 24 hours to decide the final outcome. So what are the latest details you have for us regarding this, Roshan?
Yes, Ronak, this is indeed something which is very welcoming to hear, because the patient has been continuously testing positive, and finally after the 5th test was conducted, the patient has tested negative, and yes, another 24 hours, another test will be conducted, and which would be the health department is waiting for the final outcome of it, and if it's negative again, in all probability, in all likelihood, the person will be declared as recovered. So with that, the number will drop to just 1 active case, so which is something everybody is looking at.
Right, absolutely. Well, Roshan, do we know this primary contact, who is obviously the primary contact of the first COVID-19 patient from the state? So in this process, have there been any other such cases that have been detected so far, which are also linked to the first COVID patient from the state?
See, Ronak, all that was done was, if you remember, just a few days back, a retesting was done of around 181 primary contacts, and out of that, 1 more was found positive. So the number went off to two active positive cases. That was there. So this is, and the government is not taking any chances. And yes, they were constantly monitoring the 180 primary contacts and also the secondary contacts, and following which the retesting was done. And the number 12th positive person was found. So this is a continuing process, and as we speak also, the government is continuously monitoring. And let me also tell you, we were informed yesterday that the primary contacts of the 12th patient is currently being traced. And as and when more development will come up, the health authorities will make it known.
Absolutely. Well, Roshan, we've also come to know that the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma, has stated that there will be another final test that will be conducted after 24 hours of this 11th COVID patient from the state, and that will decide the final outcome. So tell us more on that, Roshan.
Yes, Ronak, this was as part of the protocol. It was made known before that testing would be continuously done until and unless the ultimate result is found. Yes, in the 5th count, the patient has tested negative, but again, there's yet another 24 hours, another test will be conducted, and only after that, probably in all likelihood, the patient will be declared recovered. That is the protocol that the government is following. And Ronak, I would also like to tell you, I got this This morning, today, a bus from Rajasthan carrying around 24 stranded people has reached the state capital out here, and they were all screened, all registered, and they have been sent home for home quarantine. And none of them have tested positive or showed any symptoms.